Welcome back to another daily recap for Wednesday, August 7, 2024. I'm Sam Morton, and as I'm making this pre-market video to show the levels for the day, the time is currently 8:10 a.m. Eastern. The levels on this SPY chart will be used to enter trades in the E-mini futures today. If price in the SPY hits a level, a trade will be triggered in the E-mini futures if everything else is behaving as it should be. In the pre-market, they're trying to climb back up. You see this price action from yesterday, the last 30 minutes. This is about a 50 S&P point move just in the last 30 minutes of the day. And as I'm recording this video, they're back up near the top of this little move here. They need to get above 530 to get above yesterday's high. There should still be some decent bull-bear battles today and the rest of the week. Also, I have a couple of zones indicated by the dashed lines. Price could react anywhere from within these zones if they get there. But whatever happens today, we'll come back to this chart after the closing bell to examine the price action during the open session and talk about any trades that may have been triggered. We'll catch you on the other side. We're back. The market closed a few hours ago. After a decent gap higher at the open this morning, they fell the rest of the day and closed near the low, almost below yesterday's low, actually. That doesn't look very good for the bulls. So we're not here to speculate on which animal is going to prevail for each of these daily bull-bear battles, but we will talk about the daily levels that we had on the board before the market opened this morning. You see them here, and how the resulting E-mini trades fared. So to start, I'm going to jump into the recording of the trades that I took today. I did not follow my own rules for most of the day and got into some trouble. I'll try to explain what I was thinking for some of the trades, but there really is no good explanation or excuse for some of the things I did. I'm almost maybe too embarrassed to share the recording of my live trades with you, but in the spirit of transparency, and because I need both of my tracking logs to be accurate, you get to see all my mistakes today. Whatever happens, I cover the good, the bad, and the ugly on this channel. So there are probably some good lessons in this recording you're about to see of what not to do. The good news is that for anyone playing by the rules for each of the levels today, you would have done quite well. You may not know all the nuances of the rules that I use just yet, but today is a good example to show what would have happened if you trusted the process and simply set a 4-point target for each E-mini trade. Each level that was hit produced a 4-point base hit without a lot of drama. As you'll see soon, the biggest problem I caused for myself today was that I tried to hold out for more points for most of the trades, and I wasn't always given the 8 or 10 points or so that I was looking for. And to add insult to injury, I reversed a time or two, essentially gave myself self-inflicted TKOs. They were totally unnecessary. But all that being said, here are my trades. Buckle up. It's a little bit of a bumpy ride. So you can see the time in the lower right-hand part of your screen. Also, you're looking at my entire trading screen. I didn't crop out the trade bar on the top here and the chart trading tools on the right hand side of the screen. I just blacked out my account numbers and account balance and things, but you should be able to see down here at the bottom the current real-time profit and loss balances, as well as the closed P&L after each trade. I'm going to pause this here just to point a few things. So this first trade was right after 9:45 a.m., which is right after the 15-minute mark. For me here and anyone else in the Eastern time zone, it's 9:45. So once that candle closes, I'm interested in taking trades, but not before. So the first trade was a long trade as I came back down into this level here at 529.56. I didn't add the usual 5-cent buffer to most of the levels today because I knew there would be increased volatility, and those few pennies really don't matter that much when the market's moving a lot. So we'll play this. I ended up getting 10 points out of this trade. You can see I'm long here at the level. You'll see me move the profit target around a little. It's not something I should have done really. You'll see by the end of this video, I would have ended the day a lot better if I'd just been content to take the usual 4 ES points at each level. Spoiler alert, there were 24 points available for the taking at these levels if each one were traded by the rules. So moving on, this trade, I'll scrub ahead here so you can see this. There's 500. I moved it down right there, right before they came up and hit me. So that's 10 points, $500 with one trade, and moving down to the next level, 525.07. Looking for a bounce there, and didn't happen until almost 1 o'clock or so. So I'll pause this so we can kind of talk through. So this one here, this was entered into the system. So there's a red line and a green line, and the let me point something else out here before I go down here. This red line up here and the blue line here, the red line in the SPY chart and the light blue line in the E-mini chart, it was it has nothing to do with the trades today. I was doing a little experiment after I saw how the first hour closed, the 10:30 a.m. candle. It provided a signal that they were probably heading down for a few more hours, and I just wanted to see how much like out of the money I would have been if I had actually did go short right at say 10:31 a.m. That's the light blue line here in the E-minis, and the red line are if hourly closes were above this, that would be, for this hypothetical trade, that would be wrong and I would get out. But it's a big spread, more money than I would normally want to risk. But as we can see now, that 10:30 a.m. candle was in fact a valid signal, and they fell for the rest of the day. But we'll watch this trade here. So I had this one entered into the system. So the moment the SPY hit 525.10, which by the way, I did adjust this level up a few pennies, a market order in the E-minis was triggered to go long with, I think, one contract. I think I added the contract later, but this comes down, let's see, I guess it was a little later than now. Here we go. So I'm long one contract. They gave a base hit several times. I mean, 4 points. You can see I have 5. This is 50 cents, the equivalent of 5 points over the E-minis. They hit that several times and even went above it a little bit. So I was holding out for 6 points and just missed it. So I don't know, call it greed, whatever. I've said before, bulls and bears get fed, pigs get slaughtered. I'm not sure what I was doing. I could have just got a base hit really easily, but I held out and they kind of left me holding the bag, unfortunately. I end up buying another contract at a level that I identified down here in real time before they got farther down. And let's watch that happen. So eventually I got out of the money. We'll see this happen in a minute. I held on to it. There's the new level. So I bought another contract down there. So I'm long 2 at this point. And one thing, so this was not a level that I had from this morning, and it wasn't a bad level, but in doing so, in buying down here, again, I kind of messed up my own rules for getting the signal for reversing the trade. So I ended up reversing, but at the exact wrong time. Sure enough, that's when they found the bottom and took off. You'll see in a minute. So I wonder if that's ever happened to you. I used to let my emotions overrule a lot of trades, but once I established a good routine and developed solid rules, I've done pretty good the last few years. But anyway, here you go. So now I'm short, and that's when they took off. Thinking I would buy 4 down here to get me out of the 2 long. Anyway, so you can see what's going on. Just end up closing this out. So I don't know, what is this, $1,900 closed? It was pretty bad at this point. And I ended up jumping on board at some point as they were falling again, gave me 10 points. A lot of things I did that were just stupid, honestly. Where would that trade? There's that trade. So yeah, short 1, quick 10 points there. And let's see, by the time they got down to this zone here, I clawed myself back out of that hole a little bit, but I was still almost, negative $1,500 or so. By the time they got down to this zone, and I'm in another trade here. A lot of back and forth. Way too much trading, over trading today. Not a smart thing to do. Really, there could have been 5. No, 6. We'll look at the playing by the rules log and talk through that in a minute. 6 legitimate trades, 4 points each. There's your 24 points. We'll talk about that later. So I've got levels. I'm popping up and venting trades, not treating this like a process. So here, again, another 10 points. Why didn't I just go ahead and get the 4 or 5 points, which it did. And we will scrub ahead here. Meanwhile, you can keep an eye on the money I'm giving back to the market at this point. They got down to 519. This is the top end of a zone here. And that was when they finally found a bottom. And you see I'm willing to buy in the middle of this zone. And they quickly filled both of these orders. So I was long 2 right there. And got some points on the first one and thought maybe I can trail the other. So basically took half off, right, of this 2 contract position and trail the other one. But as you can see, I'm getting ahead of myself here because this was filled. And I'm going to scrub ahead so you can see it. There we go. So I'm trailing like, I don't know, 14-point trailer or something, thinking that should be enough. I got my sights set up here. Thought at this point, I'm just hoping they're going to catch a ride or catch some support and go all the way up, and I would get myself out of the trouble I'd got myself into and then some with this here, all these points, but it didn't happen. Instead, they came down and stopped me out with just much less. So ended right there, you can see. So before commissions, that's $825. A lot of commissions because too many trades, but that's the total damage. And I think that's pretty much it. I didn't take any more trades after this. And by the way, while I was looking at all this and had levels that, well, I did have actually orders to go long again, I think. Yeah, here we go. Down in this zone, another area identified. Don't ask me why. And while I was paying attention, or looking at that, I wasn't paying attention to the fact that when they got up to 521.97, I think, it was a perfect recycle trade right up here in a minute, and I wasn't even looking at it, so I missed that. There we go. Boom. I could have gone short there and pulled this thing down for another base hit. Anyway, stop recording this. At this point, you can see it's at the end. So that was the damage. This is what not to do when trading these daily levels. So in the interest of saving time, I went ahead and made all the levels that were hit and traded playing by the rules. They're now dotted. And so here are the trades. Long trade here right after 9:45 or 15 minutes after the market opened for you. A bounce, and you don't touch this level for the rest of the trading day unless it. Well, let me talk about something here. So yeah, there's a long trade. I'm not going to take another long trade, but if they get below, I'll take it for recycle. But because they hung around here, there's not enough time. There needs to be a certain amount of time that elapsed from the last time they left the level and they come back up into it, and that didn't constitute. So all this is just they're hanging around the level. So once they got below, if they come back up and around here, yeah, possibly would have considered taking the trade, but that's a non-factor because it did not happen. One trade, this is the second trade here, number 2. Doesn't look like much, but there's so much volatility and movement and range today. There was more than 4 points, more like 5 or 6 there. And the first time they came to this level, another hit. By the way, this would not have given you a recycle. They're 1 penny short. Even if you adjusted this level with a 5-cent buffer like I normally would do, down to 525.02, they came up within, I think, well, let's look at it. The high was 524.99. So 3 pennies away, unfortunately. So anyway, so this is what? 1, 2, 3, trade number 3, trade number 4 at this level by itself. You could have bought somewhere in the middle, but just each level independently, like I'm doing all the other, like in the playing by the rules log, I'm trading every level independently. So this is one trade, and this is the second trade. Both levels worked. And then this last trade was a recycle at 521.97 on the short side. So 6 trades, not too shabby. The playing by the rules log, start at level 6 and work your way down. And then after level 2 was satisfied, they came back up and there's a recycle on level 4. So there's your 24 points with however many contracts you're able to trade. Mine was definitely a mixed bag. You can read. I just basically put this total of 12.25 points over 8 trades. I gave that many points back and dollars back. So it was $825 before commissions, somewhere in between here, mostly toward one contract trade. So there you go. And this is kind of how it all stacked up when I did the math and looked at and analyzed all the trades after the fact. But I know what the total was. So there you go. And I think it would be fair to show March through today again, like I've been doing. So here, the data here is the same, but look up at the daily averages, the average per hour, total trade days, everything. This is from March through August, all of this year, playing by the rules, just to show you when I started keeping track of my own personal trades. Here's an example today of a trades that ended up a lot worse than if I'd been playing by the rules. And now you can see the averages, total days, and everything else between the two. Playing by the rules, my personal trades. So that's it for today. Thanks for tuning in and watching my cringe-worthy trades. I hope you found it helpful. Perhaps learned something, learned what not to do. And before tomorrow morning opens, 9:30 Eastern, I'll have new levels on the board. We'll do this again. Hopefully do a little better job. Thank you and have a great rest of your day.